All right. Hi, everyone. So my name is Christy, and I am the founder of New Rich World. It's an online platform created for young adults to live life on purpose, share your dreams, missions, and visions in life. And today I am here with Brandy Miller.
Hi, Christy. It's good to meet you.
Hi, Brandy. Uh, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, I can. I am an author, and also I help people write their stories, find, write, and share their stories. I help them learn how to figure out who the audience is that needs their story the most, and then how, when, and where to deliver that message for the biggest impact.
Awesome. So how did you get started in writing?
I've always written, since I was as far back as I can remember. I've had a journal, but I didn't start really sharing that publicly until my husband and I started a business in November 2011. And our first big client needed help with his blog, and they were willing to pay me to write their blog post because none of them wanted to do it.
Cool.
So I would get paid to write blog posts, and I was like, wow, okay, well, I have a skill that will pay money. Cool. And so then, but our business started going under because one client does not a business make. It's sort of like being a freelance, person,
Right.
not really a business yet. So we needed to generate more clients, and I didn't know how. So I start searching around the internet for answers, and I find this course by Vic Johnson called Getting Rich with eBooks. And he basically had the idea that, if you could write a successful ebook, it would help you build your client base. And I thought, well, I can do that. I can write. So
Cool.
I wrote my first book, How to Write an Ebook in 40 Days or Less, in December of 2012. And I put it out there, and I was shockingly surprised to see that it got several good reviews. And so that was the beginning of me really starting to write more in depth.
So is it available on Amazon or where?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And it's called what?
How to Write an Ebook in 40 Days or Less.
Great. So, well, I guess you kind of talk about when did you first decide that writing was right for you?
That didn't come until actually January of this year, when we were struggling. We had moved back to Texas from Elko, where we've been living for the last 4 years. And I got a contract at a card company, and I was really enjoying it. I was doing graphic design for them, and everything seemed to be going well. They loved my work. I was getting great reviews from the customers. And at the end of December, they let everybody go like they were planned, but then it was said that, that if they really liked you, they would hire you back. Well, I was kind of counting on being hired back since I'd gotten such great reviews, and then it didn't happen. They didn't hire me back. They didn't hire anybody back. And I was like, well, now what? And so I went on this long walk, basically talking to God and saying, okay, well, what's going on here? What am I missing? What am I overlooking? Why am I not able to succeed? And the answer I got back was that I lacked commitment. I kept building all these back doors to allow myself to escape. And instead, what I was really doing was diverting all my energy across too many different places instead of focusing on the area where my talent was the strongest. And that's when I decided to commit myself fully to writing for a living. And 2 weeks later, I met a woman named Surya. And Surya lives in Singapore, and I didn't know anything about her. But I saw that she was asking for help starting her story. And I was like, well, okay, I know how to do that. So I gave her an hour of my time, and we talked, and I helped her find her story. And at the end of it, she said, how can I hire you to write my story? Yay. And it ended up being a $3,200 contract. Most money I'd ever made in my whole life writing.
So was that like a bio about?
It's her story. And the beautiful thing about it was I realized that this is what I wanted to do with my life for definite and for sure. I love helping people find their stories. I
You enjoy it so much.
Oh yeah, that is absolutely my passion, is that everybody has a story and the story is worth telling. And everybody's story needs to be heard. You know, and we all have something to give and we all have something to offer. But most of the time we lock it up and we lock it away because we don't think it's worth anything. We know the story, right? So we don't see the value in it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's that is actually, what this platform will be about. It's, it's for people to share their talents, their expertise, their dreams, their gift to the world. And not also that, but they also can connect with experts like you to guide them, to mentor them, to help them in different levels. I mean, you can give free tips, advice, or you can have a course, a coaching or mentoring section, whatever. But you can offer a different level. And what's special about this platform is that it connects people and it supports people who want to do what they want to do. So, when I started the project, I did a survey, and I asked people, if they have a list of things they want to do in life, and things they want to do, to be, to do, and to have. Well, majority of them would say, yeah, they do. But, I asked what's hold them back. So what's the main, like, reason that stop them from achieving what they want to do. And it's not really lack of money, or but the main thing would be lack of guidance.
I agree.
Yeah, like earlier you said that we sometimes have our own blind spot and we cannot see our strength, and we need help from other people to actually kind of, like, I don't know, like reinforce, or just say that, hey, you're good at writing. Hey, why don't you help me with this? Hey, you're good with speaking. Or I even have one of my mentor now. She's become my friend, and she's good at live streaming, right? And then that's what she does now for living too. So yeah.
But yeah, I mean, absolutely. It's in the space of community that I figured out that I had a gift for writing. By myself, I would never have seen it because I just take it for granted. It's just part of what I do. I think in terms of writing. I pray in writing. Everything I do is basically written. And but I didn't see that as a gift. I didn't see my method of expression as a gift. It took an outside community to affirm that gift. And I think that's where a lot of us miss out, is that we don't connect with other people.
Yes.
And we don't get that affirmation of our gifts because we're not out there sharing, because we're not part of something. So we don't ever get what we have seen in the proper light.
Yeah. I mean, that's the reason why, like, this world has, I don't know, billions of people. We are supposed to work together, right?
Yes.
We're not supposed to, like, be alone and do everything by yourself. So yeah, it's the same thing for me. I mean, I have this idea of putting this platform together, but it didn't happen until I joined some other community, and then that's where I can find the people and share the same, like, visions and missions, and then also kind of complement each other on what we can do to help each other, business and personal too.
Yeah, exactly. Because we all have something to contribute. Every single one of us has something to contribute. It's just a matter of finding what it is. And sometimes, like the first time I was part of a community, and the first time I realized kind of my value to that community, we were all trying to figure out what role we were going to play in hosting a retreat. And there were so many different roles I could have played. It was really confusing to me. And it didn't end up turning out that I played any of those until there was one role that nobody else would take that I knew that I could fit. And I was like, okay, great. Well, I'll just step in and fill in the gap. And that's when I realized the reason that I have so many gifts and talents is because I am that fill in the gap person. I'm the person who can come along and fill in that gap until the specialist can get there and take over. The only thing that I do extraordinarily well that other people don't usually is writing. And that is the one thing that I do that is my virtuoso gift, if you would.
when they say who can write, and then people like kind of step back and hey.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of people are afraid of writing because maybe they had a bad experience in school, or maybe they're not good with their grammar and their spelling, or maybe they just don't connect with the written word the way that I do. So that's where you need to turn to somebody who can and say, hey, you know what, I've got this idea and I'd like to get it out there, but I am not a writer. So can you help me? And then that person gets the opportunity to let their gift shine and you still get your message out.
Yeah. Awesome. So now going back to the mission of this project, New Rich World, is that we want to help young people to live life on purpose and to accomplish the things they want to do in life, and know and have like a direction, a vision, and a mission that they want to do, and to show with the world, right? So what are the top 5 areas that someone should focus on when they want to have a meaningful life? Like,
when you want to have a meaningful life, the top of the list would focus on relationships. Success always boils down to relationships. In fact, Michael Port in Book Yourself Solid, which is an amazing book, talks about the fact that every business failure is actually a relationship failure in disguise. So if you don't have a good grasp on relationship skills, that's the first area you need to develop. And what you need to understand about relationships is that you need to learn to love people. Love people exactly where they are and how they come to you. Not just the ones that are easy to get along with. So many people making the mistake of pushing people out of their lives when they're difficult to deal with. But those people actually have the most to teach you about love. If you can love that difficult person, then you can love anybody.
Yeah. It's about, I agree. I think it's about connecting with people on a different level. Like, just like when you have a pet, like I have 3 chickens at home, right? I mean, when you have a pet, you don't logically explain to them or think how they can serve you or what they can do for you or what I can do for them. But like, it's kind of connected with anyone or just anything in a different level that go beyond our logical, like conscious mind. That I think that is the deeper connection that we can have, and love, like you're talking about, love is it's not really logical. It's like
no, there's nothing logical about love. Love is the most irrational act that a human being can commit, because love accepts them as they are and asks nothing really of them except that they are. And that's why it's so hard, because we all want things and we all want to do things. And so we tend to think in terms of, how can this person help me get what I want? And how can this person help me get where I want to be? Then
that's kind of make you like blocking the really deeper connection. Yeah,
exactly. And so it really does. It blocks you from getting what you need out of them, because what you really need is whatever lesson they have to offer you about love. I mean, because that's the whole point.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it into like calculations and put material and like an actual value on relationship, then it's not a really true relationship. And that's why one of the feature that we will have on New Rich World is also for people to exchange value. And
absolutely.
And it's go beyond monetary value, because like you say, we all have something to give and we all have something to receive and offer in exchange. So I mean, money, it's like we need it, but it's not the only thing that you can use to to serve people or to buy things for you. Like I know Jack Canfield talk about one of his events. He said, you know, he put out there like he won a car or something like that, and then or was it a watch or that he like, and then the next time somebody give it to him. I mean, he didn't have to buy it, you know, because he gives something that people want, and people were willing to trade and to give him back what he wants, and there's no money involved. I mean,
right. Well, that is one thing that I've learned is that, especially when you're a startup business, right? If you're starting from the ground and you have no money to work with, offer service.
Right.
You know, you can trade service in exchange for office space. I did. There was an art club that I belonged to. They had a gallery. They needed somebody to watch the gallery. I needed a place to work. So I traded out office space in exchange for attending the gallery, you know, being there whenever they couldn't find a volunteer. It worked really great for me, and it worked great for them. So don't be afraid to look at what you can offer and make an offer to benefit somebody else, but always be thinking about what you can do to build them up with what you have. You know, it's one thing to go out there and ask for what you need, and there's no shame in asking for what you need, but think about what can I offer that would benefit them too, so that it can be a two-way street.
Yeah. In investing or in real estate, we call that sweat equity, you know.
Yeah.
Like I have to put my work, whatever I can serve, and then somebody else will put up the money, the capital, you know, which
absolutely.
So yeah. So you went over the first thing is relationship, and then what's the other fourth thing that we should be like aware of?
Like I said, relationship first, and then service. How can I help somebody else? How can I take what I have and use it to benefit somebody else? Because every time you serve, you're actually sowing the seeds of your future success. So, you know, and not serve with the intention of getting something, but serve with the intention of just helping somebody. Like that first big contract I got came completely out of a space of intending to help somebody. It was not, I didn't plan to get a client. I wasn't looking to get a client. It was just that she had a need and I knew I could help her. So that's how you become known. When you seek to serve other people, that's how you become known. That's how you cultivate a following. That's how you start getting yourself out there in the world. And that's what it's all about. And then always be educating yourself. If you don't know, chances are other people don't know either. So look for the answer, right? Look for whatever answer to whatever question you have, and then share it. Be that source.
Yeah.
You know, go out there and share what you've learned and help somebody else.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then, so, you know, not only will that give you a chance to apply what you've learned, but it will help you to grow too. So, and yes, self-knowledge. So know what you want, know what you have to offer, and know why it matters to you. Know why what you want matters to you. Because it's got to be bigger than money. A lot of people think, well, when I have money, I'm going to have the ability to travel the world. When I have money, I'm going to have the ability to own a house. When I have money, I'm going to have the ability to have no worries. Well, money is nice, but at the end of the day, if you're working for money and it doesn't come, then when the hard times come, you're not going to have what it takes to push through those hard times. You're going to get defeated because money's not enough. And if it doesn't come, it's definitely not enough, right? You know, literally, if you lose focus of why you're doing it, of the bigger picture of why, you know, what is it you're really hoping to achieve? Do you want financial freedom so that you can serve others more? Do you want so that you can spend more time with your family? Why do you want that?
Yeah.
Don't just look at the money, look at why you want the money. What do you think the money is going to accomplish for you?
Right. Like that's why they say, you know, like, imagine you have all the money. What are you going to do now? You know, that's kind of throw out the factor that you focusing on looking for the money instead of looking for what you really want to do.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you want to travel the world, you can travel the world with no money if you can offer somebody value enough that they'll want to bring you to where they are to get what you have to offer. So, you know, and
go ahead.
And then stand up and speak out. Okay, don't hide yourself in the shadows thinking I don't have anything to offer. You have something. You have yourself. And believe it or not, that's a lot. You have all of your experiences. You have all of the mistakes you've made in the past, and don't hide those. Trot those out. Yeah, it's embarrassing that you made the mistake, but what did you learn from it? What did you do about that mistake? You know, how did you overcome that mistake? Or if you had something bad happen in your life, don't stop there. Ask yourself, what did I do to change my life for the better because of that thing?
Right.
I mean, I grew up in a background that had poverty and abuse. So I can either stop right there and say, oh, woe is me, poverty and abuse is bad. Or I can tell you that because of the poverty and because of the abuse, I actually was propelled forward to the point where I am now. Those things actually helped me. They didn't hinder my progress. They became part of it. And so if you've had something bad happen in your life, well, share that with others, because other people need to see that there's hope in their situation. That there's something good that can come out of whatever bad thing has happened to them.
Yeah, that I totally agree. Like, you stand up and kind of like really show people who you really are, and like not be afraid to talk about what you desire or what you want, or what you came across, or share your experience. Like, I mean, and this platform, newrichworld.com, is going to be upcoming in the summer, and that is the place where you can do that. And I haven't. I mean, I think people can often just kind of share with your closest friends, or maybe one or two other person that may not be able to help them, right? But let's say I share my story, like, just because I wanted somebody to listen to, but even like a person may not be able to do anything or help anything. But in this platform, you'll be able to share it, but you will also be able to connect with people who can help you and who can support you. So that's one of the things that I'm very excited about this platform.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, because that is bottom line. Connecting with people who have the same basic goals that you do is how you make progress. You know, you need both the people who are a little bit ahead of where you are and those people who are a little bit behind. The people ahead of you will be able to encourage you and help you keep going when it looks too scary to go forward. And the people who are behind you, you're helping them will actually help you move forward.
Right. Yeah. So it's and it takes certain I don't know, like, a process to understand that. You know, some people just reach out to like people that hire from them and say, you know, hey, help me. But then they forget the people behind them. And like, that's why in the survey of the member, you know, I asked them if they heard the law of 33. That means like you have to spend time with people that, like, 1/3 people that are ahead of you, and then 1/3 of time with people same as you, and then 1/3 of time people behind you, so that you can build that, like, and that also give you a sense of contribution, right? And belonging, contribution, and it's
that is how you build your self-worth. If you lack it, then reach out to those who need something and give to them, because that will prove to you that you have something of value to offer. So often the reason that we don't feel like we have anything worth giving is because we're not giving anything, and so we're not getting affirmed in what we have to offer.
And I came I had a science like nursing background too. So one of the reason that the elderly people feel depressed the most is when they feel there is lack of contribution.
Mm-hmm.
They feel now they cannot, help the children. They like, they um like when they were young, they could work, they could, do things for other people. But now, when they come to a time that they're too weak and they cannot contribute to the society anymore, and that like the number one main factor that make them depressed.
Oh
So
yeah, absolutely. When you feel like you have nothing to offer others,
yeah,
that is a depressing feeling.
yeah, yeah.
Because it makes you wonder, why am I going through all of this if nothing in the world changes because I'm here?
Right, it's like meaningless. I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Exactly. And we all need meaning. We all seek meaning. Our brains are wired to look for meaning. So if we're not filling ourselves up with purpose and meaning, we're going to end up depressed and unhappy.
Yeah, and that's what yeah, it's not drifting day by day and have no meaning in life. I mean, it's like walking zombie.
Exactly. And the most depressing thing that you can have is being stuck in a job where you don't even feel like there's a purpose for you being there. Like anybody could fill in,
Yeah.
right? I mean, where it's just like, it doesn't matter if you show up or not because you're just another cog in the machine. That is a depressing feeling.
Yeah.
But when you're in a position where you're giving to your maximum of the gifts that you know that you have, and you're seeing the results and other people are affirming you for what you're giving, well, that's the most joyful experience there is.
Right. Like you feel happy, you feel appreciated, and you feel like
Mm-hmm.
you are actually fitting in or doing something for someone.
Yeah, you feel like your life has meaning and value,
Yeah.
and you're getting to see that it does. So that's one of the reasons I would encourage you. Oh, bless you.
I told you this morning I've been sneezing.
It's all right. I totally understand.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think that is one of the reasons that our country is kind of like where it's at with the level of unhappiness we got, is that so many people feel like what they do doesn't matter. Like there's no real purpose to it. Like they're just doing and doing and doing, and it's not getting anywhere.
Yeah, it's so what advice would you give someone who is seeking to fulfill their mission in life? Like
My best advice is this: commit to it 100%. Stop building yourself a back door, because building back doors just takes energy away that could be used to your commitment. We're often so afraid of failure and so afraid of the consequences of failure that instead of living our dream or following it, we build little back doors in case of failure. But all that energy we're using to build those back doors is what really causes the failure.
Like burn the boat, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The island and burn the boat.
Right.
No option B.
Yeah, and stop leaving yourself a plan B. It's scary to step out in faith. It is. Committing to my writing means that I don't have a job. So if I don't find that next client or I don't get that next whatever, we don't have rent, we don't have utilities, we don't have gas to put in the car. So yeah, it is scary. It is living right now. It's living day to day. Things are improving as I'm learning more. But in committing to it, then I'm available for those opportunities. But if I don't commit to it, I can't be present for opportunity.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Commit to it, 100%, 120% even. I mean, if that's truly what you love to do, and if that's truly your whole goal, for this whole life, like I think of it as like a big picture. It's a journey, and you want to get to a certain point, and it's not gonna take um, just a day or two to get there, right? It's a
No, it's a lifelong journey.
yeah.
There will always be struggles. There will always be hardships. There will always be doubts. There will always be discouragement. Those things will always be present. You will always be fighting them.
Mhm.
But if you keep turning back and returning to what you had, then the journey is going to take a lot longer. And your muscles, your stamina, your ability to proceed when the challenge comes, those will get weaker. Every time you turn back when you're scared, you weaken your ability to move forward.
Yeah. I mean, to stop, like I think of it as running a marathon, you know.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
If you're too tired, you can stop and step aside and kind of relax, take vacation. I don't know, do whatever. Yeah, just drift yourself for you know for a few minutes, or I don't know how long, whatever you can take. But the quicker you can get back on the track, then the
Yeah.
faster and more efficient you can be. But
Well, and it's like running a marathon because the more that you spend time running, the more used to it your body gets. So the better you get at running that marathon, right? The faster your times get, the less often you have to take breaks.
yeah,
The shorter the breaks become because you've trained your body how to re-energize itself. You've trained your body how to recuperate. You've trained your body for what to expect. And so then your body is able to give you what you need. When you first set out on that journey, though, your body's out of shape. Your mind's out of shape. You're on a totally new process, and you don't have the experience and the training. That's one of the reasons why you do need to make sure that you're in the right race with other marathon runners who can tell you, okay, this is perfectly normal. What you're going through is normal.
right.
We all go through it. You're just going to need to push through it.
And you're gonna need a mentor and expert and coaches
Exactly.
there with you, so that you know to help you. Yeah, I mean you
Exactly.
can't run it by yourself, or you need people along the side to cheer you, give you water, give you support.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach,
Yeah.
you say, hey, you're doing good. No, you need to move faster. So
Right. Or somebody who knows you well enough to say, hey, you know what, you can go faster than this.
yeah.
And you're not doing yourselves any favor by dragging your feet, because it's just going to take longer to get there. And it's going to be more discouraging if you don't pick up the pace.
Yeah, and that's what we're gonna have on New Rich World platform. Is that you're gonna have people support you with mentor and coaches, expert along the side. So you're not gonna be like lonely on your journey.
Yeah, trying to do it all alone is a good recipe for failure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Been there, done that. Way more times than I needed to.
It's a process. It's learning. I mean, it's all about also. It's also part of the ego feeling too. If I've been in that time where I feel I could do everything by myself, and but when I understand now, it's not. I need to be surrounded with the right people, but first, I need to understand who am I and who I want to become, who I want to be.
Yeah, that whole the knowledge of yourself is probably the single most important piece of knowledge you can have. Why do I behave the way I do? Why do I want what I want? Why does it matter? What's going to change in my life if I make this change?
Yeah.
If I go on this journey, what's it going to bring? And to be realistic, because, quite frankly, you don't know what it's going to take to get to the end of that journey. So you're going to have to reevaluate that basically every few steps of the way. What's changed in my life? Am I still aligned in that direction? Is that still what I want? Because you're going to test yourself. You're going to figure these things out. You may decide 50 paces in, you know what? I thought I wanted this, but this isn't really me.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's good news, because then, it's like dating, right? You may date 50 million guys to figure out what you don't want, so that when the right thing comes along, you recognize it.
but I still say know what you want. So you know
Yeah.
the wrong guy, right?
Have an idea of what you want. But I had a friend who she was pretty sure she knew what she wanted and she knew what was important to her.
Yeah.
And she got a guy who fit what she thought was important to her. And 6 months into dating him, she realized that his values didn't align with hers. And the values that didn't align with hers were way more important than the external things that she thought were important, right? He was a good worker. He made lots of money. He was smart. He was funny. He was committed to, these things were important, but they weren't as important as the fact that he couldn't express himself emotionally. He wasn't interested in a spiritual journey like she was. So there was this disconnect. There were surface things that were way more important than the external things that she thought were important.
And prioritize, like, what do you really want, like the highest priority. Yeah, and kind of filter out that list of things that you want and most important to you.
Yeah. And you may set an initial goal of thinking that this is important, but then as you approach that goal, you may realize that, something else is more important. So don't be afraid to make a pivot, right? If you need to change direction to focus on the more important thing, do it.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to do that. Your business will see a whole lot of pivots. In fact, that's something I was reading the other day in a business blog, was that the successful business that survives is flexible enough to pivot and change direction when it's right time.
Yeah, it's also adaptability to be able to change and evolve, and yeah.
So as you grow, you're going to evolve. You're going to change. Your needs are going to change. Your thoughts are going to change. The goals you have will change. But don't be afraid to let go of what was in order to embrace what is.
Right. So next question. So in the platform, in the Ritual platform, we also have a section for the member to list their goal and the items, the things they want to achieve. How would one go about accomplishing their goal? Like, can you give them a step-by-step breakdown of things that they need to do to achieve?
Yeah, absolutely. Start with the big thing, the huge thing, the thing that seems impossible, the dream that's so far out of your reach. Like, I mean, somebody was telling me about a book by a guy who's calls it Moonshot Goals, right?
Yeah.
I want to own the moon. So what's going to take for me to get there and do that, right? Owning the moon seems like an impossible thing because we can't even live on the moon right now. So, but what would it take for me to get there and set up shop, right? If you don't ask yourself how, and don't say, well, that could never be. Because believe it or not, more things are possible than you can imagine. But the problem isn't the thing that you want. The problem is that you never ask how you could have it. Everything you want in life is already out there waiting for you to have it. It's just that you need to believe it's possible and possible for you.
So see it as the whole picture, and then you break it down by little steps.
Exactly. Yeah. And then take it apart. What's it going to take? What steps am I going to have to take to get to the moon? Like, okay, so first I'm going to have to figure out how to launch myself to the moon. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to terraform the moon. And then I'm going to have to figure out how to get supplies back and forth from the moon while I'm working on terraforming it. So, break it down. What are the components that are going to have to go into this dream that you have? And then what steps will you have to take to get to each little bit? Break it down further, right? Take that first step that you have to take and make that into smaller goals so that you're always taking baby steps forward.
Right.
Don't eliminate as a possibility what you want.
Yeah.
Just look at what it would take to get there.
So you would need to know all the question, like the why, the what, the how, the who, and the when, right?
Yeah, exactly. How am I going to do this? Who will I need to help me?
Yeah.
That's another important one, because somewhere out there is somebody who knows what you need to know in order to get where you want to be. You just got to find them.
Right.
And then, how and who and when set deadlines. Even if you don't make those deadlines, having deadlines gives you a sense of urgency. It gives you an accountability. If you're going to do this in 40 days and you tell everybody, I'm going to do this in 40 days, well, they'll know if you blew it off. You'll know if you blew it off. But if you say, well, I'm going to do this someday, it never gets done.
Yeah. That's also one of the feature that we have up there. You need to know exactly, well, not really exactly, but you need to know those 5 questions to accomplish each goal. Like, what is it that you want to do? Why do you want to do it? And then how, and then who, and also kind of like budgeting, things like that. So, we will have everything in that for them to guide them and have like.
Well, I think that's probably one of the most helpful things, aside from connecting the community, is to have that, right? This is my goal, and see it every single day.
Yeah.
And if you can create a vision board, I mean, heck, use Pinterest if you need to, but stick pictures up of what your life is going to look like when your goal is accomplished. When you get that big moment and you own the moon and you live there and you've got real estate there and you've got your terraformed moon, what is that going to look like?
Yeah, we have that too. We have where you can put the picture.
Oh, that's really awesome. Yeah. See, and that's really useful, because if you can look at it, your brain can imagine it. And if your brain can imagine it and can imagine you having it, and you ask it how we can make this possible, your brain will work overtime to figure out how.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so excited for this to be available, because I think that will make people come closer to achieving their dreams, because on this platform, you can download it on the app. So you can see it on your phone, you can see it on your computer, and then you can do it, like live with it and kind of be.
It's really awesome. That is actually really powerful, to be able to compile all that into one place and have it accessible, not just to you. I mean, but if you wanted to share it out to others, if you want to create a team that's supporting your goals and holding you accountable and helping you to make sure that you're taking those steps. And when you're hesitant to take a step, stopping back and asking you, okay, why? What's standing between you and taking this step? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of failing? Well, congratulations, we all are. But here's the truth about failure. Failure only holds you back if you don't use it as a stepping stone toward your success.
Yeah. Only when you give up, then you lose.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Every time you fail, you learn something important that will help you succeed the next time.
Okay. Yeah.
So
we're gonna have to take a break, and then, we still have a lot to talk about.
No problem.
Hi, this is Christy again, and I am the founder of New Rich World, and it's an online platform for young adults to live life on purpose, share dreams, visions, passions, and goals, things they want to achieve, things they want to do, to be and have in life. All right, and here's Brandy Miller with us, and Brandy, so can you share with us some of the books that you'd like to read, that you can recommend for our community member?
Absolutely. One of the first ones I would recommend is Book Yourself Solid by Michael Port. It was really influential. One of the biggest tips I got out of it was that every business failure you have is really a relationship failure in disguise. So if you want to fix your business, fix your relationships, figure out where the problems are coming from. Because a lot of times what it comes down to is we overextend ourselves because we're not setting proper boundaries, or we, because maybe we have difficulty saying no, right? And or we don't trust people, so we're not sharing information, we're not letting people help us, or we get too caught up in ourselves and we forget that the purpose of this is to serve others, so we're not really thinking about their needs, we're thinking about our needs. So it was really good advice, very instrumental in helping me in my development. And then another one is Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People. If you haven't read that, it's an oldie but a goodie. Very good. Because it really does talk about the fact that everybody ultimately wants the same things out of life. They all want love. They all want to be loved. They all want respect. They all want to be respected. And if you can give them what they want, then you can get what you want. If you can help them achieve their dream, then they'll be more than happy to help you achieve yours. So it's really good for developing those relationship skills, which are so fundamental to success.
Yeah.
And then, let's see, a really good one, silver boxes. And it talks about making gifts of your words, choosing your words carefully so that they build people up instead of tearing people down. Even if you need to offer feedback that may be critical of the work they've done, you can always package it in such a way that you lift them up at the same time. You don't have to tear them down. So, one of the best compliments I received came just a couple of days ago on my writing, and it was that my ability to grab people and take them places, even necessarily where they wouldn't want to go, through my use of description is really powerful. Now, other areas, maybe I'm not as good, and I do still need to hear those criticisms, but to package it in powerful, positive language is so crucial for somebody not to give up or to get too discouraged. And then the last one is balcony people. And that's about collecting your group of cheerleaders, about the people who are going to cheer you on, and the importance of finding those people and becoming one of those people for somebody else. So those are some books that I've really found very helpful in my growth as a business owner and an entrepreneur and just a person in general.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and I think reading books is an important. It's so important for us to do as we grow ourselves, like our personal development, our skill set, our knowledge.
Well, 99% of the questions we have about life, the universe, and our place in it have already been answered by somebody else, and there's usually a book out there that'll tell you about it. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important to read, to find the answers to the questions. So
the next question is, this platform will allow you to connect with mentors, experts, and coaches, or people that are, that have what you want to have or done what you want to do. So what's the best way to ask someone to be your mentor?
The best way that I found to ask somebody to be your mentor or to give you guidance is to look at things from their perspective. Realize that it does take work on their part to mentor you. It's going to take effort on their part. So be respectful of the work they do. If they give you advice, don't just toss it in the trash can because you don't like the advice. Follow through. Make sure that you're putting in 100% effort. And see what you can offer in return, right? I mean, don't ask them to put all the work in and then you're not willing to give anything back. See if maybe they have a need that you could meet, right? Maybe I actually got a potential business coach because she offered a free coaching call. I showed up, we talked it over. I realized that she had a story that maybe I could help her tell. And I can't afford a business coach, but I can afford the time to help her tell her story. So we kind of worked out a trade agreement. If you want somebody to mentor you, then see what you can offer them in return. If you know how to develop a website, if you know how to write an email, if you know how to manage social media, whatever you know how to do, think about how that could benefit them. So
Yeah.
And on offering good value, don't expect to get the world for 50 cents. If you,
Well, if you think your time worth 50 cents, then that's like a 50 cents style, right? uh,
so, I mean, I don't care what lifestyle it is, practice gratitude for what you do have and radical generosity with what you have. Be prepared to share when you don't think you can, when it hurts. Share when it hurts. I'll tell you, so often we tend to say, well, I don't have enough for me, so how am I going to share with somebody else? But what you'll find is that if you're willing to share when you feel like you don't have, then when you really don't have, somebody else will come along who's willing to share with you. So, and don't be afraid to give away thinking that it won't come back. That's actually kind of a way of limiting what can come to you, is to assume that it's not going to come back if you give it away. If you're stingy, it's like the farmer analogy. Okay, if a farmer only plants 5 seeds because he's afraid that if he plants 10, he's not gonna. He only has 20 seeds. So if he only plants, half of those because he's worried he won't have any more seeds when he's done, then he's going to limit the harvest he can reap. But if he plants all 20 seeds, well, then he exponentially increases the potential that he can come back.
Yeah, and I think that also apply with the law of the universe, like abundance. Like if you see, I love nature, right? And like for example, like a tree, you see so many flower blossom, but not all of them will become fruits. But that's what the tree needs to do. It needs to blossom as much as it can, right? And it needs to give out as much as it can. And sometimes people can enjoy the flower, but people can also enjoy the fruits. So don't be afraid to give out as much as you can, and assume that that's not doing anything for you or for other people, but just like live abundantly like the nature do. Yeah.
Right. Well, and notice that the tree come fall drops all of its little acorns, right? The oak tree drops all the acorns. Everything's gone. Leaves are gone. The acorns are gone. The tree is completely barren, and you would think that, it's never going to come back to life. But if it doesn't have that time of having nothing coming in and everything's gone out, then it doesn't get the chance to heal back up and prepare for the next spring.
Right.
So that time of the downtime when nothing looks like it's coming in is actually a time when it's growing and preparing for the next year. So
right.
For the next stage of abundance.
Yeah.
For the first 3 years, a fruit tree doesn't produce anything. First 3 to 4 years. They grow leaves, they may blossom, but there's no fruit. No fruit. But on that 4th year, produces its first fruit. It's like maybe 10 pieces of fruit. And then the next year it's twice that. And every year after that it grows bigger because the tree is grown and better able to handle all of it.
Yeah.
So, your abundance will come in stages as you are ready to handle it. And there will be times when there's nothing, when it looks like the harvest is nothing, but that's a growth period for you. That's you preparing to meet what you're going to need to meet in order to rise to the next level.
Yes. And so don't give up when you don't see the result yet, because like you say, there's time and seasons for anything and everything in life. So
exactly. There'll be times of prosperity and there'll be times when you've got nothing.
Yeah. So time to grow, to grind. And I think those are the grinding period where you don't see the result, but it's help you to build your strength in your help you to build the foundation, right?
Exactly.
So the next question is, do you have a formula for success?
I don't really think there is a formula for success, because I think if there were, we'd all be a success. I think that it's not a destination. It's a journey. Everybody's success is a journey. And it's also how you define it, because if I define success by what's in my bank account, well, then maybe I'm a colossal failure, right? But if I define success by relationships and I have lots of friends and people that I've helped, well, then I never have to be a failure, right? I can always be a success. So journey to success and look for it in other ways. If you're not feeling like a success today, maybe it's because you're too narrowly focused on one area of your life and you're not seeing how you success in other areas. So
Great. Okay. Yeah, that is so true. I mean, like you say, life is a journey. It's not really a destination, right? It's not like a recipes that you cook and then you eat, you're done.
Yeah, I kind of wish it were at times, but at the same time, I think that would be over too soon. You know, it wouldn't provide enough excitement for life if we could just reach it and be done.
Yeah. So in our platform, New Ritual, we will have a section for you to create your goal. What are some of the key points you would need to focus on or work on when you set on to achieve a new goal?
What are you doing every single day to bring that goal closer to you, right? Who do you need to meet today? What do you need to do today? Who can you reach out to and collaborate with that might be able to help you get closer to your goal? What do you need to learn? I like to get up in the morning and say, you know, help me to see what I need to see today in order to get where I want to be, right? So, because so often you don't know what you don't know. And so many times what's standing in your way is something you haven't even realized yet, something you haven't seen, or something you've overlooked. You think you're failing, but it's only because you don't have all the puzzle pieces. So you got to find the puzzle pieces. If you're stumbling in your walk, if you're struggling in your journey, figure out what puzzle piece is missing so you can make the next step forward.
Cool. So on the platform, we will also have a section for the member to create a wish list item. Think of that.
I think it is good because, you know, you need to have not just one goal, but multiple goals that are specific and measurable so that you're always working out where you want to go in life and what you want to do. But one of the most important things I would do is have 5 very specific goals that don't have anything to do with money. Have them be goals that are beyond money. When I was 27, I got confronted with the idea of my death. Like, what if I died in 5 years? And I took a look at my life, and that day I went home and I had like a wish list of about 100 things I'd wanted to do. And I went home and I took that wish list and I said, okay, well, what on this wish list really matters? If I were to die in 5 years, what do I want to have accomplished? And none of it was on that list. None of the stuff on the wish list was what I really wanted.
That's interesting.
And so, you know, write your list, write the first 5 things in light of what you would want people to say about you, what your life should look like, what you want to have accomplished on the day you die. The things that mattered to me, as it turned out, were that I wanted to be out of debt so that I didn't die owing everybody. You know, I mean, that's not exactly a legacy you want to leave behind. You know, I wanted my relationship, my husband and my son, their relationship wasn't very good. I wanted that to be in a healthier place so that, you know, instead of self-destructing, they would turn to each other instead of against each other. I wanted to pay tribute to the investment of my parents and my grandparents by finishing my degree so that, all the time that they'd spent wouldn't be meaningless. And then I wanted to leave the world knowing that I'd made it a better place for having been here. Yeah, and that was the fifth and last thing on my list. And that's what I've spent my life since then working toward, that goal of making sure that the world is a better place for my having been here, because that's what I want written on my tombstone. Ultimately I want to leave a mark. I want to leave a legacy of positive influence.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to do that, and that's why we have that as the one of the main function for the user to be able to describe what is it that they really want to do, to see what's really important to them. So great. So back to your journey. What were some of the information you wish that you would had when you were younger, when you first started out?
When I first started out, well, first of all, I wish that I'd known that that I didn't need to buy everything, that I didn't need to pay for everything, that, basically I could build it from scratch, and I needed to know how. And I wish that I'd realized that, because I spent a lot of time, my early starts weren't very good. I didn't know how to build community. I didn't know how to be part of a community. I didn't even really know what a community was. And so I was trying to do it all by myself.
Yeah.
And so I would buy into all these multi-level marketing things, because, they had a product and they would promise to help you learn to market it and everything, but I never found any success there. And I didn't really ever feel like I was part of those groups. I felt like I was on the outskirts looking in. And then I got older and I learned to be part of a community. I learned to be a contributor. I learned to be somebody that, went beyond the surface and was willing to put in as much as I was getting out. And it was in community that I began to realize that I had a writing talent, because they were the ones who were telling me, right? They were the ones who were affirming me, and they were confirming that, yes, you have a gift and you should use that gift. And so through community, I figured out what my gift was. And now I didn't need to use somebody else's product to build my business. My writing was my product. I could use my writing to build a business. And that's what I wish I'd have known sooner, is that if you can find your gift, that unique thing that you do that is not something everybody else can do, then you can build from there. You don't have to pay money for somebody else's product. You can be the product. So.
Wow, that's powerful. One of the way that we feel that we can do things is we want to be successful, right? And everyone has a different definition of successful. But I think we all need that. We all need to be to have to feel and to know that we are successful in what we do, whether it's something that you have done or something you want to do, something you want to accomplish. So what are some of the key things that you want to share with people when they think of personal success or want to have us?
And be prepared for failure, because you're going to meet a lot of it. And don't let yourself give up because you meet failure. Nobody in life starts out walking, right? I mean, every baby doesn't know how to walk when they come out of the womb. They have to spend a whole lot of time working up to the point where they can walk, and they fall a whole lot more than they succeed when they first learn to walk. But eventually they get the hang of it. So believe that you can eventually get there too. It's just a matter of, you're going to have to keep trying, and you're going to have to try different things and learn different things and watch people, see what they do. And if you fail, then learn from it. Don't let your failure stop you. Learn from it. If you meet doubt, It's because you don't have enough information to know for sure that you're on the right path. So go back to your community, get the feedback you need to overcome your doubt. If you're feeling discouraged, chances are good you've forgotten why you're doing this in the first place. And you need to go back and look at that why and use it as a compass. Check your path. Make sure you're on the right path for your why. Because I've gotten there, been discouraged, and I got discouraged enough that I was sitting there, trying to figure out why I was still here, still doing this, and whether it was worth it at all. And then I realized what I was missing was the whole point of it. And if I wanted to get back on track, then I needed to focus on the why I was doing this and what made it worth it. So that's kind of what I would say, is that you will eventually get success, but you'll always have a new level of success you can get to. So it's never going to end. The struggle is never going to end. You just need to have a reason that's good enough to keep fighting.
I see. So how can someone be stand out and instead of, get lost in the crowd, how can like a young entrepreneur or a young professional, a young adult, can know who they are and kind of stand out and stand up for themselves instead of get lost in the crowd and kind of go with the flow?
Well, know what you bring and know who you bring it to, right? Take a look at your past mess. Okay, everything that you don't like about your past, all the mistakes you've made, all the things you've been through, all the troubles you've gone through, and all those things you've overcome, well, that is your mess. But in the middle of that, everything that you learned from that is your message. That is what you have to offer the marketplace that nobody else can, because nobody else will have the unique combination of skills and experience that you bring to the table. And so take that unique message and then figure out who needs that message most. That's your tribe. That's your group. That's the people. That's your audience. And they will love what you have to offer because they're the ones who are out there waiting for it right now. You can help them overcome their obstacle. You can help them get past their problem. You have the unique insights and experiences and skills to help them kick whatever problem they've got and overcome it.
Yeah, that is so true. And I live that. I mean, what bothers you the most is what you should stand up for, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, the struggles that you've undergone, the challenges that you've faced, the things that depress you about life, well, those are your niche, right? Those are the things that you can address. And if it bothers you enough to want to complain about it, then it should bother you enough to want to get active and do something about it.
Yeah. I say, who am I and who I want to be? Do I just want to have a job, work 8 hours a day, and then pay my bills, take care of my children? Of course, those responsibilities we have, but we should have like a bigger goal for our life, and that should drive us and that should motivate us. And when I start asking those questions, then it made me to think more about life and what I can do. So that's one of the reasons why I started out this platform, and it's called New Rich World, because I want to see the world is a richer place, a happier place, a place of transformation and abundance, and where people can connect, support each other, and don't have to be so lonely, because I was lonely at one point and I didn't know what to do.
Well, I think a lot of people feel lonely. They feel like they're alone in their struggle. They feel like they're alone in the questions that they ask. They feel like they're alone in their depression. Depression really does tend to get people to the point where they think nobody else has ever gone through anything like this, and nobody understands. And the truth is that we all undergo that. We all struggle with that sense of hopelessness and purposelessness and where do I belong? And part of the reason we do is that it is designed to guide us to ask the question, what is my purpose here? Why am I here? And what am I going to do about that? Yeah. So I think this is great that we're people have the opportunity to stop and assess that and figure out, okay, I don't like this aspect of the world. What can I do to change it? If this aspect of the world bothers me, what am I going to do about that?
Yeah. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show people
Exactly.
they can live their life. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So if you can sum up 3 things that matter the most in life, what would it be?
I would say it's love. First of all, love is the most important thing. Love people, love yourself, fall in love with love. Look for love. Find out what it looks like. See what it smells like. Everything you can learn about love, love. And along with that is relationships, because that's where love is experienced, right? I mean, without relationships, love is fruitless. And the whole point of life is to be here to learn to love one another and then make a difference, right? Don't just live your life. Let your life make a difference. Let your life be something, stand for something, mean something. So there you go.
Cool. Please share with us 1 or 2 resources that's most helpful for you to continue to go on, on your journey. Like, what is?
Always be reading. Always. Like we said earlier, find a book a day to reach out. And the other resource I would say is there are so many online sources of information about entrepreneurship. There are so many sources of, there's free webinars everywhere. You don't have to take all their advice. Some of it's good, some of it's, but listen to it and take what you can out of it, because honestly, they're offering it to you for free. The only thing you're spending is your time. And even the stuff they give you that isn't 100%, useful to you, you can take and you can use to shape yourself. So you examine their presentation. What did you like about it? What didn't you like about it? What would you have done differently? And grow from it.
Great. What are some of the realistic short-term and long-term goals that our community user?
Well, your long-term goal, like I said, should be a moonshot. So each person it's kind of individual to them. What big thing, giant thing do you want to accomplish by the time you get to the end of your life? That's your moonshot goal, right? I mean, if you want to terraform the moon, that's a great goal. Maybe we can expand the reach of people, but what's it going to take to get there? And then set individual daily goals for how you're going to reach that, right? What are you going to do in 10 years? What are you going to do in 5 years? What are you going to do in 2 years? What are you going to do this year? What are you going to do each and every day? When I set out to write a book, for instance, if I want to write 60,000 words in my book, well, I don't just sit down at the computer and write all 60,000 words, because if I did, I'd be overwhelmed by the thought of doing 60,000 words. So instead, I break that down. I divide it by the number of days till the end of that I want it finished. Take that number, divide that into the word count, and come up with a meaningful daily goal. This is what I'm going to do each and every day to write this book so that it's done by the time I want it done. When do I want it done? What's it going to take to get there? Divide it into little segments and be sure that you're taking steps every day to get there.
Cool. What do you think of the term millennials? Like when you hear that, what does it come to mind?
Well, a lot of people use millennials to just kind of lump it into people who hit the adulthood around the year 2000. And some people say, well, millennials don't appreciate things. Millennials are blah, blah, blah. But, the truth of the matter is your generation gets to define what millennial means for itself. And you define that by the choices you guys make every single day. So if you don't want millennials to stand for they don't work, they're not positive, whatever negative thing somebody might say, if you hear those criticisms, instead of taking them and letting them define you, take them and say, you know what, I don't want to be that, so I'm going to take that as an incentive to be something else. I'm going to take that as an incentive to work against that, because I don't define myself that way. Just like Gen Xers, we get baby boomers, they don't like to, Gen Xers, they're too independent. Gen Xers, they're not involved enough. Well, we were latchkey kids. We raised ourselves. No, we don't have a lot of trust for authority because, well, there wasn't a lot of authority present in our lives. Mm-hmm. So it kind of shaped and formed how we had our approach to life. And of course, in younger years, most of us didn't see a point to getting involved in politics because it seemed like it was already scripted. I mean, it just didn't seem like it had much of a point to it. But the older I've gotten, the more I've realized, you know what, we have the power over that. We have the power to determine what political future happens. We don't have to wait for politicians to step up and change things. We have the power to change things just by changing the choices we make every day. If we decide to make a life better for somebody else every single day, if every single person in the world would look for somebody they can help each and every day and work to make somebody else's life better each and every day, I guarantee you that at the end of the year, the world would be a better place. 365 days. It's simple. It's not easy, but it's simple. So, don't let yourself be defined by somebody else. Use their criticism to define what you're going to do to make sure that doesn't happen.
Yeah. And I kind of look at that as a constructive criticism. I mean, I came across an article. A lot of articles talk about millennials, this and that. And I actually wrote a poem. I don't know if you saw it on my Facebook yet, but it's called You and I Live Life Knowing Why. And in the first part, I say I am, such and such, like I'm selfish, I'm self-centered. And all those bad things people think about millennial. And in the later part, I talk about why I think that way, because I want to know who am I. I want to know how I fit in this world. Because if I don't know much about me, I cannot, help you if I don't know what I can do. If I don't know my strength, if I don't know what is my purpose, I cannot fit, within this whole picture. So I kind of defend it in that way.
You can always turn around a criticism, right? I mean, I once had somebody tell me that I'm an extremist for my views. And I said, well, yeah, I'm an extremist. I believe in living life to the extreme. So yeah, I mean, absolutely. If it's a negative term, don't let it hurt you. Use it, turn it around. Use it in your favor. Make it work for you.
Yeah. And it's also a learning process, like a growing process. It's kind of help us to really stand up for who we are, instead of say, oh, you can talk about all you want, but if we don't express ourselves, nobody know, right? And they can make all kind of assumption they want. So
right. And don't let their conversation be the only conversation that's being had about who you are. Make sure you're out there talking about it too.
Yeah. So what's the first thing you recommend for the community user to do after this call?
Sit down and make your goals. Think about where you want to be at the end of your life and set goals for yourself that matter. Goals that are bigger than dollars and cents. Goals that are radical in the way you want to change the planet. What are you going to do about that? Have that goal, but then figure out what you're going to do to make that goal a possibility. What do you think is going to change things? But believe that you are capable. Believe that you have what it takes, and sit down and make those moonshot, crazy, over the top goals that nobody but you and maybe our community members are going to believe in. And know that they're possible. Know that if we really wanted it, we can make it happen.
Yeah, that's one of the features that we have in the platform is you make the goal and you connect with people who can help you to make that goal become a reality, to bring you closer to that that dream, that that things that you want to see happen, either for you or for other people, like what changes you like to have. So yeah, I'm very like excited that we can put this together, and doesn't matter, they can start from where they are, and they can connect with the right people. They can have that strong desire of things they want to achieve, and they can get there. And yeah.
Absolutely. That we are working together to make people's lives more meaningful. We connect together instead of trying to make a purposeful life on our own, that we are connecting together to make everyone's life purposeful, to invest everybody's life with meaning. Because I don't think anybody should be left out. I don't think purpose-driven life is for just a few. It's for everybody.
Yeah. That's why we have this world of billions of people. It's
Exactly.
no one man on an island, right?
Right. Well, every voice matters. Everybody's story matters.
Yeah.
Everybody's life makes the difference to somebody. And, the more of us that get together and share that, the stronger that it gets, and the closer we get to all achieving our dreams. It doesn't have to be a win-lose situation. It can be a win-win for everybody.
Yeah. So, do you have any products or service that you want to let us know more about?
Anybody who would like to help getting their book written or their story told, obviously, those are things that I do offer. If you want to be taught how to write, I do help people learn how to write. And if you want me to flat tell your story, I will also help you do that. Those are two things I offer. So, and if you need help figuring out, if maybe you're already writing, maybe you just need help figuring out where your market is, who's the audience for your writing, and where can you find them so that you can reach them. And if you're a creative entrepreneur, I've been there. I'm an artist in addition to an author. So I know the struggles of getting your product out there and of getting the attention you need to sell those products and to put them out there in the world. So look me up. I'm always happy to help.
Yeah, we would have a section for you on the platform to display all your product and services so people can see as well. Yeah, it's like your own shelf, in the store, online store. Yeah, because we want to make it, convenient for people to see and to see what you have to offer, what you have to give to others. You can say it as your product and services, but I believe that's your gift to the world. That's what you have to offer. Yeah. And do you have a website where would
I do. I have a 40daywriter.com. That's 40daywriter. Some people mistake it for writer as an rider, but it's not. It's writer, like the pen. So 40daywriter.com. And that's my home site. So
okay, cool. One last thing before you go. So tell us what you think of this platform.
I think this is a beautiful concept. I mean, I really do. To connect people together, to help them achieve their dreams, to help them see that there is better possible, that you don't have to be stuck where you're at, miserable and unhappy. There is more to life, and you can have it, and you're meant to have it. So, if you join the platform, get connected with other people. Don't stay in your little safe zone and then because alone you're going to be defeated. You're never going to succeed until you start reaching out to people and let yourself be seen and be known and share your gifts. So
yeah,
thank you so much, Christy, for having put this together, because I wish this had been available for people like me when I was younger.
Oh, yeah, thank you. It's my pleasure. I've been enjoying every minute of it.
And when you do find that thing that you are meant to do, you will feel unsurpassed joy when you're doing it. You will just feel more alive than you've ever felt in your whole life.
Yeah.
So get out there and find it.
All right. Thank you so much for
Thank you,
spending
Christy.
time with me and with us with our platform. And I will see you up there, with your beautiful profile, and you can share your dreams, your service, your goals, and connect with other people. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, Christy. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
You have a great day.
Talk to you later. Bye-bye.